You may not know this, but the first cold email was sent in 1978. It was sent to 400 people and generated over $12 million. That is absolutely amazing. So now it's 2023 and cold email is still effective. Maybe not to the extent of the very first cold email, but it's still effective to help market your business to get in more leads and clients. In this video, I'm going to be going over some cold email basics to get you started on how to cold email and to make your cold emails more effective. If you're new to the channel, my name is Nicole Johnson. I am a fractional content marketer and I talk about all things content marketing. So today, let's go ahead and get into cold email best practices when you're cold emailing for clients. All right, so here we are talking about cold email tips every beginner needs to know. So I have a few tips here for beginner people who are cold emailing for clients and prospecting, right? So number one would be to get clear on your target audience. And everyone says this, everyone beats this into your head. You've got to have a niche. You need to know exactly who your people are. You need to know where they hang out. You need to know everything, okay? Because spray and pray marketing is not going to help with email marketing. You have to be completely targeted. You have to know your ideal client account or your ideal client avatar, okay? I say account if you're going for big companies. I say avatar if you're going for a single person, okay? So this is the industry they're in, their pain points, the revenue, and I would also consider company size, because depending on what type of service that you're offering, if the company is too big, then they may not actually need your services because they already have a full-time position that's covering that. Or if they're too small, they may not actually have the revenue, number one, or they may not even know what your job entails or what your business entails and how you can actually help them. So revenue and company size is something that I most definitely look at. Okay. Number two would be building a list. So you can build an email list from a variety of different sources. And the most common ones are Hunter.io, Apollo, Crunchbase, LinkedIn, wherever you can find email addresses, most definitely you can build them. So you can also do this manually. You can do manual scraping, but that does take a long time. And I would suggest probably going ahead and trying a tool if you want to manually scrape yourself and using the tool to help you. So the tool that I use is Apollo, and I have also hired freelancers to actually find email addresses for me, hired a freelancer off of Upwork and other places. And if you just give them your target audience, so what we talked about right here, industry pain point, not pain point, but industry, revenue, company size, and a few more qualifications, then they will be able to find these emails for you, okay? The only thing about that is that it can be expensive having someone source these leads for you on a regular basis. So if you want to do it yourself, like I said, build a list yourself with something like this, Hunter.io, Apollo, Crunchbase, LinkedIn, etc., etc. Okay. Number three on this part, as far as your target audience, is that you need to actually clean that list. So once you get your list back, regardless if someone has done the list for you or if you source the list yourself, that list has to be clean. And basically what that is saying is that you have clean emails that are not going to bounce and they're not going to mess up your domain reputation. And I'll get into that a little bit later. So you want to make sure all these emails are safe to send. Okay. And then you also have catch-all emails. So there is a debate. I've been in a lot of spaces where some people just completely discard those catch-all emails and they don't actually put them on their email list to email out. And I've heard other people say that they put them on their email list and they didn't have any issues to actually send them to an email. But I have actually not sent catch-all emails, and it does seem like a waste when maybe you get a list size of 500 and 300 come back completely clean and good to go, and you have 200 that may be considered catch-all. Okay, so these are still considered in my mind risky. And so I do not use them for emails, but I do save those catch-alls for something else. And I'll tell you guys a little bit later in the video. Okay, so clean the list. And this right here is a company, Reune. And this is who I actually suggest to help clean your email list. And as this video is being recorded, it is a lifetime deal on AppSumo. So I will drop my code down for that. So lifetime deal, meaning you can clean as many emails as you need for the rest of your life for one low price. Okay. And I think it's a really good deal. And they've been actually cleaning my list, all the lists that I've built out, and all the emails that I've sent in. And they have a really good interface for one. And then for two, it does not take that long. And then for three, I believe that they're fairly accurate in figuring out which emails are clean, which emails are risky, which emails are in catch-all. Okay. So I'll put that down in the link below. Okay, second thing is to set up your email properly, and meaning everything that goes along with this. So you do not want to send cold emails from your main domain, okay? And my main domain is studio822.com, okay? So I am not sending out cold emails from that domain. You would have to go to a domain provider, go ahead and get another domain that's similar to your original domain, and register that domain and get an email account for that. So the easiest way is to go someplace like GoDaddy. So that's who I use. I go to GoDaddy and set up a new Gmail workspace account with that new domain. And then I set up everything else here. Okay. So like I said, you don't want that on your main domain because you don't want your main domain blacklisted as spam, meaning that when you are sending out regular emails, not even cold emails, that they're not getting through, they're going to spam because your email, your domain has been blacklisted. You do not want that. Okay. So down here, I also have the proper DMARC, SPF, and DKIM configuration. So these are a little techie. I'm not going into how to actually do this because depending on what software you're using for your cold emails, they will walk you through how to actually set all that up. And I personally use Instantly for cold email, and it was very, very easy for me to set everything up. I mean, I don't consider myself a super techie person, but it was very, very easy for me to go ahead and set up my Gmail and then follow their instructions to get this stuff set up. So this DMARC, SPF, and DKIM configuration, this all contributes to whether or not you land in spam. Obviously, we do not want your emails to land in spam because if they land in spam, no one's going to see them, and therefore you won't get any leads and or clients, right? Okay, so after you have everything set up properly, you're going to want to warm up your emails at a minimum of 2 weeks. And right now I have 4 emails going. And so each of those 4 emails had to warm up for 2 weeks. Some of them actually warmed up for closer to a month, but 2 weeks is minimum, okay? So 14 days warming up. And what that's basically doing, depending once again on your email service provider is going to send emails and receive emails. So send and receive to make it look natural that this is not a brand new domain and that you're just spamming people and you just now started emailing all of these people. Okay. So warm up a minimum of 2 weeks is absolutely necessary. Once again, shameless plug for Instantly. Everything's set up super easily. With Instantly, it's just like a click of a button and your emails are warming up. Okay, so C is something that I did not know until I actually got ready to start my email campaigns, is ramping up your email slowly when starting a campaign. Because in a lot of these groups, I see people that have just finished their 2-week warm up or 3-week warm up, however long they warmed up their emails, and then they immediately blast out 20, 30, 40 cold emails a day on day 1. So that is not what you want to do. You still want to be cautious and you still want to ramp up your emails very slowly. So for instance, my emails, the first week I had sent out 5 emails per day for the first week. And then I upped it the next week to 10, 15, 20. So some of my campaigns right now are running at 20. They're not fully where they need to be. So with Instantly or with any actually cold email, you can send up to about 50 per day. But with Instantly, we have it set up to where it's going to be 30 campaign emails and 20 warm-up emails that are going concurrently. They're going at the same time, basically to keep your domain safe, okay? So I'm up to 20 per day on some of my domains. So you want to ramp up these emails slowly when starting a campaign. Once again, this is all about not landing in the spam folder, okay? So cold email copywriting. So when you are sending these emails, just a couple pointers is that you want these emails to be short and to the point. Because I don't know about you, but I am not going to read 3 paragraphs of something from someone I do not know. I want everything short, sweet, and to the point. And it's typically about 150 words or less. Some people say 75, the shorter the better. Some people say 4 sentences, but whatever the case, you need to get to the point and you need to make it short. Another thing is personalizing the first line as much as you can. So you have your subject line, and then that very first line is like, hey, I found you on LinkedIn. I saw your latest YouTube video, whatever it may be. You can most definitely personalize that first line. There are AI tools that help you do that. You can also do that within Instantly. Okay. You can also do that within Instantly as far as personalizing that first line. Because when you think about it, you have your subject line, and then that first line is usually shown right after that subject line without people even actually clicking on that email. So if it's something that catches their eye, they're going to click on it and open it, which is wonderful, and then they're going to read it, okay? That's the thing. You want everyone, as many people as possible, to click on your email and read it, okay? Because if it's not getting read, it's not doing you any good. Okay, so like I said, 4-5 sentences max. Utilize your PS. Okay, so I've found that I utilize my PS a lot, especially on the first emails. And I will write them a short little message as far as maybe what my offer is, just to reiterate it, or maybe if they are not interested in this, but they're interested in something else, whatever it may be, you can go ahead and use your PS. I find like a lot of people actually read the PS. Okay, and then the last thing here as far as your email copywriting is concerned is to draft a 4-part email sequence with variables, meaning that you have your very first email and then you have 3 more emails after it scheduled at different times. So after that first email, you may send out the second email 2 or 3 days later, 2 or 3 days later for that third one and the fourth one, and then just cut it off, right? And so these emails are basically going to have variables. And what I mean by variables is you have one email and then you have another one just to kind of test it out. And this is something you can also do in Instantly. So you can do A/B testing to see if your audience resonates more with the first email or the second email. So that way you can completely optimize your email. Okay, next is spin tax. So I knew nothing about spin tax 6 weeks ago, and now I'm realizing how important it is. So even with all these things that we're doing to keep ourselves safe, as far as properly setting up the domain, properly warming, properly ramping up your emails, you still have the chance to land in spam if you are sending out 50 emails a day, 100 emails a day, however many emails you're sending out a day, and they all say the same exact thing. Okay, so yes, that name to the person is going to be different, but if you have everything the same exact way, then that may raise a flag to your email service provider or Gmail or Outlook or whoever you're using and say, oh gosh, this is spam, because they're sending out 100 of the same emails every single day, Monday through Friday, and this just does not look natural. So spin tax is what this is, and this is how we avoid this. So spin tax is basically using code, and it gives you different variables. So for one, like I said, you want your emails to be short, so you're not using spin tax in the entire email, although you can, but you want this to sound as human as possible. So basically what this is going to do is give you a few different variables, and I'm going to show you an example here. The easiest example to show you is hi, hello, hey, first name. As you can see, that this right here is a spin tax. And so every time I preview this, hey, first name. So you see that this has changed. Okay. And then I also have another one down here. So this one doesn't use a lot of spin tags, but this one is just my closing signature. So best regards, many thanks, my name. Okay. So it's showing you that it will change every time you do this. So you do want to make sure when you are using spin tags that you're actually checking it to make sure it sounds not like a robot, for one, and that it actually fits and it actually changes. Because sometimes if you don't have this set up correctly, what's going to happen if you have an extra space or take out a space or whatever, it's not going to regenerate properly and it's going to show up really funny. And then people are going to know that this is a cold email, right? Okay, so that is spin tags. And you can use ChatGPT to complete the variables, and I can go ahead and share my prompt with you down below. I'll go ahead and paste that down below as well. And then, like I said, test your spin tags before you actually send out your emails, okay? Okay, so now that you've got all that, you've set everything up properly, you've got your email sequences, you've put in some spin tags, you've checked that out, you hit go on your campaign, right? So you're not going to just hit start and ignore it and just wait for people to book calls on your website. That's not how that works. So you hit go. And now you have to monitor your campaign. So within Instantly or whatever email service provider you're using, that could be Woodpecker or I don't know, Mailshake. I think that's another one. You can monitor your campaign, and you need to monitor your campaign. Okay, because what's going to happen is people are going to email you to tell you to, leave me alone. I don't want to hear from you anymore. You need to take those people off your list immediately. You can move these people to a block list, okay? And on top of that, if you have somebody that is ready to talk to you, that is very interested in your offer, that, wants to get going now, you need to be on top of that. You need to go ahead and email them back, and you don't have to email them back within Instantly or whatever provider you're using. You can just email them back and go ahead and continue the conversation from there, okay? But you want to be on these leads because they're hot when they respond, okay? So you don't want to have someone respond and then you respond back 3 days later to their positive response. You want to jump on it as quickly as possible, okay? So I typically look at my campaign first thing in the morning and at the end of business day at minimum, okay? In addition to looking for people responding back, if they're interested or they're not interested, you're also looking at your campaign health, making sure that your emails are not landing in spam, making sure that everything is running smoothly, okay? You want to keep a close eye on that even though you've got this going. Okay, bonus, okay? So I did tell you guys that I was going to share a bonus with you, and that would actually help you with this cold email, okay? And it's not probably what you would think. It's actually has nothing to do with the emails, but it's actually connecting with your ICA, connecting with these people on LinkedIn, okay? Especially if they are people or companies that you really want to work with, you can go ahead and set up your cold email campaign and everything else and have those emails going, but connect with them on LinkedIn as well. Follow them, make comments on their post, be visible. So that way they can say like, wow, I think I got an email from Nachole. But then again, I see her on LinkedIn. So this is going to show these people that you are a real person and that you actually have something to offer. And something else that I did not mention earlier, and I should have mentioned, is that once you start, before you even start cold emailing, you have to have some kind of online presence. You have to have a website. You have to have social media channels, especially if you are offering to do social media management or whatever else it is. You have to have these channels up and you have to have a good online presence, because what will happen is once you start sending these emails, you're going to get interest. So even if people are sending you messages to tell you to stop sending you emails, stop sending them emails, what is going to happen is these people are going to start looking you up online. They are going to start going to your website. They are going to start going to your social media channels. They are going to start looking at your LinkedIn. And another cool thing about this is that you can go ahead, before you set up your cold email, you can go ahead and check everything out on your Google Analytics. and then just watch the progression of how much traffic you start to get on Google Analytics, because you know that's coming from these cold emails that you're sending, okay? So that's another cool thing. Just make sure you have your online presence in place before you start the cold emails. So back to this bonus. So like I said, connect with your ideal audience on LinkedIn. Make sure you're visible. And especially if you are targeting big corporate clients that are actually on LinkedIn, make sure you're on there, okay? And another way to make this a little bit easier for you is that I want to introduce you to a tool that I've been using that I'm actually enjoying using for this is Power In. And it is a LinkedIn tool that you have your top 10 companies that you really, really, really want to work with. I mean, you're sending them emails. You want to connect with them on LinkedIn. You want to do everything you possibly can in order to land that client. What Power In does, it allows you to follow these people. You can follow accounts. And when you start following their LinkedIn account, the other cool thing about Power In is that when these people start talking, when they start making comments, you can make a comment automatically, okay? So Power In makes LinkedIn comments automatically for you. And I've been using this tool for a little over a month now. And at first I was skeptical because I was like, it's going to sound like a robot. It's not going to sound natural. It's going to sound weird, but it actually does really well as far as the comments are concerned. So like if someone is celebrating that they just got their product in Walgreens or whatever else it is, then you will actually be one of the very first comments, if not the first. And what this actually does is when you are commenting on these target accounts that you have targeted, what happens is when you comment, people are going to notice you, especially if you're the first comment. They're going to notice you. And then they're going to notice your byline in LinkedIn and knowing what you do, seeing that you're following people in that particular industry. And then from there, they are actually going to click on your profile on LinkedIn and start checking you out on LinkedIn. So this is like a full circle of you doing the cold emails, you connecting with these people on LinkedIn, you getting the attention of the accounts and the people that you want to get the attention of or want to get the attention from on LinkedIn. And on top of that, you get attention from their network, all the people that are commenting on their posts and are looking at their posts. You get that attention. So this is like this dynamic that makes things a whole lot bigger than it possibly could be, because obviously you know that you have to sleep, you have to work, you have to take care of clients, you have to do whatever else it is, and you can't be on the computer all day making comments on these target accounts, right? So let Power In do it for you. I'm going to go ahead and drop that link down below as well. I have a few links for you in this video, guys. I'm so sorry, but I was really excited to share this with you and what I've been doing for the last month or so as far as cold emailing myself and learning how this process works and learning how to connect with people on LinkedIn and using things that make it a little bit easier for you. So with that being said, I'll drop those links down below in the comments and in the video description. But if you have any questions about anything that I've covered today, any comments, let me know. I love hearing from you guys, and I'll see you on the next video.